Hello and welcome to Around the World in 7 Days. New episode. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. So let's begin with Indo-Pacific politics. Indo-Pacific politics did not remain untouched by the global turmoil after Russia's attack on Ukraine. Russian invasion has intensified political conflicts in the Indo-Pacific region. This conflict is due to China's decades-old stance towards Taiwan, an island country located near the East China Sea. China considers Taiwan as part of its One China policy and seeks to reunite Taiwan and China. In such a scenario, Taiwan's fear of a Chinese invasion increased after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On one hand, the whole world has been strongly criticizing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, while on the other hand, China continues to support Russia's move. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has led to speculations that China may invade Taiwan. In such a scenario, US President Joe Biden has warned China against invading Taiwan during the recent Quad summit held in Japan's capital Tokyo. Biden has stated that if China invades Taiwan against the 1979 agreement, then the US will not back down from taking military action against China. Now the question remains that what is the 1979 agreement and why the US is threatening China with military action in case of the agreement's violation. We will discuss these issues in detail in today's story. But first of all, let us understand the background of the China-Taiwan dispute. Taiwan was formerly known as Formosa Island. It is a small island located on the east coast of China. The island is located in the East China Sea and Hong Kong lies to its southwest. The Philippines lies to its south while South Korea lies to its north and Japan to its northeast. Taipei, Taiwan's capital, is located in its northern part near Taipei coast. Due to Taiwan's strategic location, the whole of East Asia is affected by the incidents taking place in the country. Only 15 countries around the world recognize Taiwan as a country. Most of them are either very small or remote island countries. The Taiwan-China dispute is not a new phenomenon. Its strings are attached to the Chinese Civil War. When the Chinese Civil War ended with the victory of the Communists in 1949, General Chiang Kai-shek and the Kuomintang party had to flee to Formosa Island. He was running the entire China in exile government from Formosa Island in the name of ROC, that is, Republic of China. At that time, the world was facing a Cold War. Hence, the Kuomintang government was supported by the US as it took a capitalist stand. Moreover, the US recognized the Republic of China as the real government of China. After the Civil War, the communists in mainland China were running the de facto government of China under the name of PRC, that is, People's Republic of China. People's Republic of China was not recognized by the American faction as this government was run by communists. Later on, however, the US recognized the PRC as the real government of China under a 1979 agreement. The US ended all formal relations with Taiwan by recognizing it as a part of the PRC and accepted China's One China policy. However, the forcible integration of Taiwan with China was not accepted. Since its inception, the PRC believes that the Republic of China, that is present-day Taiwan, should be reunited with the mainland. Now that the Republic of China has established itself as an independent country, it doesn't want to reunite with China. Despite all these political upheavals, relations between the PRC and the ROC have improved and trade relations between them have been restored since the 1990s. However, Taiwan-China relations have not remained cordial in recent years and tensions have escalated between both countries. Now, another question arises as to how did tensions escalate between both countries in recent years. The US-China relationship started deteriorating due to COVID and the trade war in 2020. Then, the US State Department sent its highest delegation to Taipei to protest against the US delegation's visit. China conducted military exercises in the Taiwan Strait, which separates Taiwan from mainland China. President Xi Jinping even asked the Chinese military to prepare for war in October 2020. It was an open challenge for Taiwan and the US. China's war preparations alerted Taiwan. Furthermore, Chinese jets also violated Taiwan's air defense area in April 2021. In July 2021, Xi Jinping issued a threat that he would sabotage any steps taken by Taiwan towards independence. Furthermore, China reiterated that it will include Taiwan in the One China policy at any cost. Now, another pertinent question arises that what is China's One China policy? China's One China policy expresses its political stand in which it claims that there is only one Chinese government which is governing mainland China and Taiwan is an integral part of it. One day, China will reunite Taiwan with mainland China. In addition, the One China policy is also a major cornerstone of Sino-US relations. It has been the basis of US-China relations after the adoption of the 1979 agreement. It is also the foundation of Chinese policymaking and diplomacy. Under this policy, it has been provisioned that any country, including the US, which has formal relations with China, will not have any formal relationship with Taiwan. However, various countries like the US and India still maintain a strong informal relationship with Taiwan. Furthermore, the US also sells weapons to Taiwan continuously so that it can defend itself in the event of an attack. However, the government of Taiwan rejects the One China policy, claiming that Taiwan is an independent country which is officially called the Republic of China. If any country wants to maintain diplomatic relations with mainland China, then it should end official relations with Taiwan. However, Taiwan has been isolated by the global fraternity due to this stance. Now you will ask that how the world will be impacted if China invades Taiwan. The Chinese invasion of Taiwan will have a profound impact globally. Its impact will be deeply felt on the global economy, regional stability, and the current shape of the world order. Even if China succeeds in invading Taiwan, it will have to strive harder to capture Taiwan as the US will provide all possible military aid to Taiwan. The US will openly support Taiwan because if China succeeds in annexing Taiwan, then the era of US military dominance will end. In addition, the US will also lose its position as a global superpower after losing its military bases in the Pacific region. For years, Asian countries have depended on the US military presence in the Pacific region for their security. In such a scenario, if the US fails to stand with its democratic allies, then it will not only seriously weaken American dominance but also will lead to the disenchantment of the people with the democratic system. The US considers democracy as a key principle in forming relations with any country. In addition, China's invasion of Taiwan will also affect the world economy. Taiwan is the largest producer of semiconductor chips in the world. It accounts for nearly 3/4 of the global production of chips. These chips are used in most electronic gadgets, including smartphones, vehicles, and weapon systems. If China annexes Taiwan, then it will control about 80% of global semiconductor chip production. As a result, the US companies like Microsoft and Apple, as well as military defense contractors, will become dependent on China. As per a report, the US is more dependent on Taiwanese microchips than on Middle East oil. Hence, various countries are intensifying policy efforts to manufacture more semiconductor chips on their own. China's dominance will also have a significant impact on regional powers like India, Japan, and Australia. In recent times, the Asian powers have largely engaged themselves economically with China for maintaining their economic balance. These regional countries are facilitating the rise of China. The rise of China would create massive security concerns for Japan, as China claims some territories of Japan as its own. Hence, China will try to capture these territories. Same is the situation with India. India continues to be threatened by Chinese incursions on its northern border. The situation in South China is also somewhat same. Other countries that do not face a direct security threat from China will also suffer from instability in the region and loss of economic ties with Taiwan due to the attacks. In the other words, after Russia's invasion of Ukraine and China's invasion of Taiwan, the democratic global order will fall under the clutches of authoritarianism. Now you must be pondering that what stand should India take in such a scenario? India is constantly facing Chinese incursions along the LAC despite repeated agreements. Various experts have suggested that India should reconsider its China policy. Under the new policy, India should not only use the Tibet card to send a message to Beijing, but also it should develop stronger ties with Taiwan. India has also initiated steps for forming stronger ties with Taiwan. India and Taiwan currently maintain trade and cultural exchange offices in each other's capitals. India is in talks with Taiwan to set up a $7.5 billion semiconductor chip manufacturing plant in India. This deal is based on the agreements reached during the last year's Quad Summit. The summit emphasized on building a secure supply chains of semiconductors. To conclude, if India does not review its relations with China in time, then India may have to face challenges on several fronts. After the major news, let us also take a look at some other important international news. According to the news agency Al Jazeera, Indian officials led by Joint Secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs JP Singh held the first talks with the Taliban government. Here, Indian officials met the acting Foreign Minister of Afghanistan, Mawlavi Amir Khan Mutahi, and the two discussed bilateral relations and humanitarian assistance. This was the first such talk by the Indian government after the Taliban took control of Afghanistan. Ever since the Taliban took power in Afghanistan, the problem of poverty and hunger has increased significantly. In such a situation, India has tried to establish relations with the Taliban by sending food and other aid. Turkish President Erdogan has again suspended talks with Greece over a dispute with the Greek Prime Minister and the violation of Turkish airspace by Greece. Greece and Turkey are both member countries of NATO. These talks were initiated between the two members of NATO for the first time in the last 5 years. The purpose of this dialogue was to resolve their differences in the Mediterranean Sea and other bilateral issues. However, it is a different matter that not much progress could be made in the talks. This is the reason that there have been frequent ups and downs in the trade between the two countries. Last week, Sudan's military government announced the lifting of the state of emergency imposed last year. The state of emergency was imposed last year after a coup led by Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan in Sudan. Seeing the seriousness of the situation, the military government of Sudan declared a state emergency. Prior to this, President Omar al-Bashir was in power in Sudan for the last 3 decades. Sudan was then facing the second highest inflation rate in the world, rising by nearly 70%. An Egyptian court has sentenced former presidential candidate Abdel Monem Abul Futu and several prominent figures from the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood to lengthy jail terms. The punishment has been given for spreading false news and plotting to overthrow the state. Abdel Futu has been a prominent leader of the Brotherhood. He was sacked from the Brotherhood group in 2011 due to his decision to participate in Egypt's presidential elections. Then, in 2018, he was detained for criticizing the government of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. On the other hand, the citizens of Iraq, a country in the Middle East, are still waiting for the government to be formed in the country. Parliamentary elections were held in Iraq about 8 months ago. But due to lack of clear majority, political parties have not yet been able to form the government. The Sadr movement, the party of popular Shia religious leader Muqtada al-Sadr, emerged as the largest party with 73 seats out of 329, but due to the lack of coalition, the government has not been formed yet. In such a situation, there is a possibility of further deepening of the political crisis in Iraq. Let us look at our question for today. Explain the implications of the China-Taiwan dispute on India and analyze whether India should review its relations with China. Thank you so much for watching.